Relationships Gone Wild. The Let's Stay Together talk show brings you crazy relationships issues and events that can only be heard on this show.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
This is Houston. Say again, please. Houston, we have a problem.
And now, the Shock Factor segment of the evening, brought to you by Reverend Rick and author Brenda McCain.
Hey, I like that. I don't know who made that, but that sounds great. Hey, we're talking about current situations here. We're going to end our show off with this information that we found overseas. We travel around the world to get these shock factor information from you. It's real easy when you have the internet, but we travel around the world to get this information from you. And one of these things that I found that was so funny to me, and it's about relationships, that this is this place, I think it was in, New Hampshire, East Hampshire. I think this is in England somewhere, where a married man leaves bag with sex tapes of mistress and sex toys on the bus. He's in a double-decker bus, and he leaves the sex. Now, the question is why he got the sex tapes, but he leaves a sex tape of his mistress on the bus and his sex toys. Now, I don't know if he going to show some of his friends or he finna go to somebody else, but it says it has to be a lesson about keeping your eyes on your valuables when riding in public transportation when a man left raunchy tapes of his recorded rumps with his mistress on a tape along with bags of sex toys. Now, typically I would think that if somebody found a bag with a tape in there, they probably wouldn't, looked at it. Now, my first thought process. Wait a minute. My first thought process. Who does tapes anymore? I'm like,
that was
tapes,
my thing too. I'm like,
I was like,
it's on your phone.
How old was he? Was this Belvedere? I don't know. DVD. So he has a sex tape. So, but the thing about it, this is just me. I might not be, like you all, but if I saw a tape or a CD on there, I probably wouldn't even cared about it. I think what really gave him away is that it had the sex toys in there. I mean, now you're looking like, okay, what's on this thing? Now, then somebody finds out. Now, here's the thing that also kind of threw me off, and y'all can comment on it. Who knew it was his mistress? How did they know?
Oh, I'm sure he knew because when he called in to claim his stuff, he was very clear about please don't call my house or my wife.
And tell my wife, huh?
Right. He was real clear about that.
And so that's kind of crazy. Baby, you got something to add?
Nope.
Or he could have.
Wait a minute.
Or he could have been on there saying, "Yeah, if my wife could only see this."
And that's what your butt got. You was bragging so much that you left your stuff. You old fart.
Now
old fart.
They say normally people leave things on there such as bus passes, wallets, mobile phones, stuff like that. But this bag raised some through eyebrows.
He wanted to leave that probably.
I don't know about that. Apparently, neither of the men in question. It says apparently neither the men in question nor his girlfriend turned up for the bag, so nobody knew about it. Then sent someone. They sent someone around to collect it. Right. The incident was revealed yesterday as part of a apparel of encouraging people to look at possessions using public transportation. So they was looking at it, and somebody must have said, "Hey, here's a tape. Let's find a cassette player or something." I don't know. How do you? What do you put this thing in there? And then they stuck it in there, and they saw that he was his sex tapes. Now, maybe on the sex tape he was saying, this ain't my wife, or, I'm fooling around, or something on there gave someone the suggestion that he was doing this. But I can't understand, why do you bring it on the bus?
Well, he probably was leaving his mistress's house. They had made this video and had these toys, or else he was taking it to her to look at the tape and taking her new toys, and he left them. So when he realized he left the bag, when he called, they probably said, well, we haven't found it, but we'll give you a call. And he was like, oh, no, do not call my house, please. So that gives it away right there.
Yeah, we ain't find it yet while we watching it.
Exactly.
Stall.
Okay, so
Right.
I'm going to read this part. It says, the outcome of the district manager on the bus company took the call. Someone called in. He was a very embarrassed man. He pleaded with the manager to call on his mobile and not his home phone.
Right.
So now, he he left it on there. Mm-hmm. Somebody turned the bag in, which is nice because most people just steal stuff, especially with sex toys,
You don't want to touch them. You don't know where they been.
So he turns it in, and then he says, then he had to explain that the woman on the video was not his wife, but his mistress, and he did not want, as Brenda was saying, his wife to find out about the sex tape. I'm sorry for you, sir. Not only did the wife find out about the sex tapes, the whole world knows now.
That's true. I just thought about that.
Everybody. Yeah. I mean, they got a picture of the bus on there.
Remember, they don't have his name in there, right?
They don't. Wow. They don't necessarily have the man's name on there, so he's on good. But with the internet nowadays, you take a couple of minutes, you'll maybe find that sex tape on there. Heck, if you can find,
busted.
Oh yeah, somebody took.
Somebody got it somewhere.
Okay, now see, that's truly was done in the dark will come to the light.
Yeah,
because he didn't actually thought, well, nobody know about it. We got a good thing going, me and my mistress. You played your own self.
Well, he should have been in Vegas. It would have been no issue.
Here's his name.
That's not his name. That's
the manager's name.
Yeah. They didn't put his name in there, but he should have been in Vegas. It'd been nothing. It'd have just been thrown in the garbage can somewhere. Because you know what happens in Vegas.
I'd have looked at it. I'd have looked at it.
But one of the things that I'm going to say is, we're having a lot of fun with it, but I'm going to say this. Married man, that's what your butt get.
Exactly.
You shouldn't have been cheating on the first place. You got this wonderful wife that's dealing with you, that, you're up there. Not only are you cheating on her, you have the veracity, the nerves, the gall to sit there and decide you're going to tape it and then have the stupidity
to leave it.
Now, I don't know about
DA.
You don't have it. DA. You don't have it handcuffed to your wrist so it doesn't fall away, and then you get caught, and then you want someone to not embarrass you enough to say you don't want your wife to find out. I'm like, I'm sure his wife is not in the dark anymore, but now you're the talk of the town because you couldn't decide to keep your zipper solely for one person. Okay? That zipper goes down for one person, married man, and that's your wife. You shouldn't have been having an affair in the first place, and I'm happy that you got caught. That's the minister saying you shouldn't have done that. One of the things that it just bugs me to death is people wanting to get away with something, and then when they get caught, they want to feel like, I don't want my wife to know. Now, of course, we know this is a religious show, and we don't care about God knowing. We don't care about anybody else knowing. We don't want my wife to know. I mean, you can't sit there and say you love this individual, and you're cheating on them. And that's the biggest problem I have. So I still love her. You do? If you love her, do you really think that that's what she wanted? I'm going on my sandbox right now. I'm going to be Rick Shabazz in a second. It's like, come on now. I mean, as funny as it sounds, I want to keep this part. As funny as it sounds, it's an embarrassment. And unfortunately, it always seems like it's men that are doing. Now, let me say this. Y'all women are just as trifling now.
She was on that tape too now.
Yeah, but the mistress was.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
It's amazing how we have so many women that don't mind being, what was that show we did? The sad chick, sitting up there being the sad chick on a scenario like this. Hey, we don't have but a few minutes left on there, so baby, what you got to say?
Next week topic: It's going to be another hot, heated one. I'll make sure I'm not on any mess. Black violence in America. United we stand, so why are we so divided? Even at the less stated, okay. Anyway, the McCain train is pulling into our last stop, and we want to thank our girl Tracy for coming from behind the scenes tonight and joining us on the mic. And shout out Rufus. Hey, Rufus.
I don't know who that is. I'm like, what happened? She went
it's better than Miss Shabazz. You better take that. Hey, Rufus.
Yeah, we want to shout out to all the people that listen to us. We miss Rufus. He was here. Where's Rufus from again? California?
South Carolina. He gonna get me?
He in California, baby.
Not now.
That's where he lives at.
That's where he lives.
In California. Now. He doesn't live in California. Well, Rufus, wherever you live at, because you're a traveling man, obviously.
You gonna talk about me?
We appreciate people like Rufus and all of the people, and also
Mommy Tony.
Also, some new listeners that are listening today from different groups that we sent a shout out. We want to thank people in Indonesia. We have a one young man in Indonesia that listens to the show,
South
and so we
Carolina.
thank you very much.
Okay,
what do you want to do a shout out?
I want to shout out to Kimberly Delaney. We're going to have you on this show this summer. Shout out to the ex-Julian night. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Can I say something very, 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 very quickly?
I guess you can if you can say it very, very, very quickly.
I just want to thank you guys for last week. I was out, and I want to thank everybody for all the prayers and comments on the death of my father. I really, truly appreciate it, and it truly warmed my heart. And I was so glad that even on a Tuesday, Brenda and Rick were able to be there with me and my family. That really meant a lot to us.
Because you are our family. Did I not say that? You the real family.
That would have been the one time we would have put a recording in.
Right.
Thank y'all so much, and everybody who's listening. Thank y'all for all the comments and prayers too.
Yeah, we're thankful that you're back.
She my sister cousin,
and we love you very much.
Love y'all too.
So hey, we're gonna be off the air in a second. We got to keep on talking because Jonathan will maybe take a minute or so away from us if we don't start talking. Like they ain't saying nothing.
Wait a minute, we're gonna put Jonathan to work. We have to have a new group picture. We have to have that.
Yeah, we have to have a new group
Jonathan,
picture.
If he don't mind.
It'd be so nice if we had Jonathan with a mic one time too. It'd be kind of nice because I know
Jonathan
be over there wanting to say a lot of things and he can't say anything. So we got to, we have to see if UBM will give us a mic over there one time. Probably next 6 years or now, we'll have one over there. But hey, we thank you all very much for listening to our current situations. We hope the information we was talking about was very helpful. We always want to talk about things that are taboo to the church and people can talk about. So you can know that God still loves you regardless to whatever happens in this world. God is still in control. And so we thank you very much for listening to the Let's Stay Together show. We'll be back on next Tuesday talking about a very important subject. Again, I know my baby put it away, and so we can be talking about black violence that is happening in this United States. And so thank you for listening to the Let's Stay Together show. As we end the show off right now, we just want to thank everybody. Mr. Bass, we're still praying for you, brother. Love you. Want to hear about what's going on with the situation with the bypass surgery. We know that God can do exceedingly abundantly, so we know that we'll be hearing from you again soon. And we want to thank all the people who listen to our show each Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. You've been listening to the Let's Stay Together show with your host, Reverend Rick McCain, along with my baby, my girl, my boo, and those delicious tea cakes. Yes. We're going to have an after show about that. Thank you for listening to the show. We'll see you next week, 7 p.m. Woo-woo!